Standard Time. Tonight we're going to have Bonser from the Minnesota Twins. He's a former Minnesota Twins. He played for the Oakland A's. He was in the Mets minor leagues. He played for the Giants. He played overseas. We're going to talk to him about a lot of things. We have bull rider Hunter Crothers, a ranked rider, a Cowboy Coffee Chew guy. We have Paul Coleman from the band As Darkness Dies. He's actually going to be calling in around 8 o'clock. We're going to play a song from his band before he comes on, actually. And around the 8:30 area, we're going to have Craig Markley. He's an actor and an author, and he's had radio and experience and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a good show tonight. And like I said, just for all the race fans that are tuning in, I want to get the VictoryLaneRadio.com race fans involved. I'm trying to reach out through my own racing contacts because Victory Lane Radio has everybody lined up. So, they got all the connections. So I want to find my own. So, Racing Underdogs is one of my guys. He's on Twitter. He tells all the information, that everybody doesn't know. He talks about the local teams, the small budget NASCAR teams. Tonight he's going to be talking about Dodge Chargers, and that's at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. So, so how's everybody doing tonight? I want to give one special thank you one more time to Scalfani, importers of fine Italian foods. They're sponsoring my program. I'm still working on getting them a commercial. And so they're good to me. It's good food, Italian food. And that's that. So we're waiting here for Boof Bonser to call in, former Major League pitcher. And Eric Flesh, you there, bud?
I'm here, buddy, and so is Boof.
Okay. The next, my first guest tonight, former Major League pitcher for the Twins, the Red Sox, the Oakland A's, played in the Mets minor leagues. What's up to all my New York people? We got Boof Bonser. How you doing tonight?
Good. Hopefully you took a deep breath when you said all those teams.
What'd you say?
I said, hopefully you took a deep breath when you rattled off all those teams, man.
Well, I was going to get into some more, but I wanted to get you right on. I could have, being in Connecticut, I was going to throw in Norwich and New Britain and Bridgeport. Yes. You did play for a lot of teams, so just briefly, if you want to briefly just tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I'd personally like to start with how did you get the name Boof?
Well, you know what? What's funny is I get that question all the time. And to be honest with you, I have no idea. My parents gave me that name when I was a young one. Changed it over when I got into professional ball. Never asked how I got it, why I got it. I didn't want to hear the answer, to be honest with you. So realistically, I have no idea how I got my name.
Now, but you were born John Bonser, am I correct?
Yeah, yep. John Bonser was my name.
And you legally changed it yourself, or your parents did when you were very young?
No, I changed it myself. Boof was just a nickname I had growing up. Everybody knew me as Boof. They had no idea that my name was John. So, like I said, once I got into pro ball, I changed it to Boof.
Now, you were drafted in the 21st round. I mean, you were the 21st draft pick.
Right.
Overall for the Giants in 2000, and you played here in Norwich for the minor league team for the Giants, and you were involved in, I think, I don't know, looking at it, it's a crazy trade. It was you, it was Joe Nathan, and for Francisco Liriano for A.J. Przinsky. Well, like looking back on that now, I mean, you went to the Twins with, Nathan turned out to do what he did, and Liriano, and it was for Przinsky. Like, what was your take of that trade? Because obviously you were in the minors at the time. Like, what was your take on it then, and what, looking back on it, like, how do you feel about that trade?
I know back then it was weird because I was, like I said, I was still in the minor leagues, and I remember getting a call saying I got traded, and it was just like, well, what did I do to the Giants, And then, getting over there with the Twins, Obviously, you hear it all the time. It was the craziest trade for the Giants, but great trade for the Twins. And still, it's just one of those things that are just, it's crazy to see. Things happen, and that's what happened. And even today, when you see, crazy trades in baseball, that one seems to always pop up. So it's just funny to see how, that stuff just keeps, it comes back around, I guess I could say.
Yeah. Yeah, because you look at it on paper, you're like, wow, for A.J. Pierzynski. But people forget. I think A.J. Pierzynski's still playing. He's a solid catcher. He's been around forever. You look at his numbers, but, that trade. Now, at the time, was Nathan and Liriano in the minors? Were they
Liriano, yes. No,
Nathan
Liriano was under me. So I was older than Liriano. I think he was an A-ball or double A. And I think Nathan at the time was transitioning to the big leagues to triple A.
Okay. Let's see here. Just give me 1 second. I have to hit a. Yeah. So then you went to the Twins, and actually the Twins was probably a great place for you. At that time, their minor league system was just stacked. We got to see them here in Connecticut. I'm in Connecticut also, and I know you are now too. New Britain, New Britain had all the players. That came through there. Everybody came through New Britain for the Twins, and I personally saw you in New Britain, and I also seen you in Bridgeport later in your career. But what was that experience like? Coming, you had already been in Connecticut at one point, because you're not from Connecticut, and you ended up moving here. That's why I wanted to know the facts on you in Connecticut, because you're from Florida, and you played for 3 teams up here. I was just wondering, how you ended up here. Was it because when you were in the minors and independent ball here, you liked it, or what's the story behind the move?
My wife's from here, actually, so that's the reason I moved here. So yeah, I play with actually my wife's brother played with me in the Giants organization. So long story short, that just happened. We are married and we live here now in Connecticut. But obviously I've played in Connecticut a ton through my career. That's for sure.
Yeah, you made the rounds. Now, in 2006, that was your first major league season, and you came up with the Twins. In September, you were American League Rookie of the Month. What was that like, coming into the Twins as a rookie, and late in the season getting that Rookie of the Month award? Being on that team, I looked back at the team, and there were some great players that you played with that year. What was that like? Was that a big thing for you, or was that just you were in the major leagues, that's what you wanted to do, and the title of Rookie of the Month didn't really mean anything to you?
No, come on now. First off, it's my first call up getting into the big league, so that's huge to start with. And to be honest with you, I didn't even, until they gave me the award and they told me, I had no idea I was getting Rookie of the Month. And that was just huge there too. So,
yeah.
And the thing was, is I was with the guys for a couple of years. So, in spring training, I should say. So I knew the guys out there, but, it was just great to finally be there, and the guys they're just down to earth guys. They were great teammates. It was just a fun time. It was just a blast.
Looking back in your career in the major leagues, who was the person you wanted to strike out the most? Every time this one person came up, you wanted to strike him out, whether it was anger or just this guy's that good, let me strike him out every time he comes up. Who was the guy you were looking to really give it to every time he came up to bat?
What's funny is I don't even have an answer for that, because I wanted to strike everybody out when I first came up, believe it or not, until I'm trying to figure out how to stay in games past 5 innings, but my pitch count, I'll tell you that. So I didn't really to have that guy. Like I said, I was trying to get everybody out as quick as I could. If I struck you out, that was better. You know what I mean? So I didn't have that one guy.
Yeah, that was a great answer. You were just trying to strike everybody out.
Exactly.
Was there anybody that you played with, like who was the biggest goofball? I asked that question to all the baseball guys that come on, like, who was the biggest clubhouse goofball, or just like the guy on your team that was the biggest goofball, like always up to shenanigans and hijinks?
Well, if Torrey Hunter's listening right now, he's probably smiling. Torrey was a big guy in our clubhouse. Kept everybody loose, just having fun and just trying to enjoy the game. But, Torrey Hunter was a man. He was, like I said, just a great teammate, great person, just, wanted down-to-earth guy. He was the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there, now, I noticed when I was looking, because I didn't know this, and I actually, didn't know anything about it. You had gone to Taiwan to play.
Yep.
What was that like, being American, going to Taiwan, and, what was that like experience like for you?
You know what? I'm glad I went over there because, obviously I've never been over there to play. But it's definitely different. You got to learn quick, from anything from, you're ordering your food to just trying to learn how to speak their language. And it was rough at first, but, it was a good time. Fans were awesome. I played on a great team over there. The first year I went over there, we won our league and went to the championship there. So, like I said, it was a good experience for me to go over there and see what Taiwan baseball was about.
Now, I had a question about the team. The team you were on were the 7-Eleven Lions. Now, is that 7-Eleven like was that the 7-Eleven, was that like 7-Eleven like the company here in the United States, or did that mean something else? Really?
No, that was the actual, we were 7-Eleven. Yep. I still remember we had a 7-Eleven that was right down the street from us, and that's how we got our name, is because of the owners of the 7-Eleven. That's how we got that.
Yeah, I was very curious about that. Now, you played there 2 years or 1 year?
I was over there for 2 years, pretty much.
2 years. Yep. And now, is the money like I had I think it was Joey Meyer last week left the major leagues and went to Japan, and we talked about the money difference in Japan to Major League Baseball. Is the money difference major, or like how is the money in Taiwan baseball? Because you don't really hear too much about like Taiwan. You hear about Japanese Baseball League and you hear about the Mexican League, but you don't really hear too much about Taiwan.
Right. It's a huge difference, to be honest with you. And what's funny is there's a big difference between going to Japan and Taiwan payout too. So, it's the difference between how big the leagues are, how big the culture is from where you're playing. So Taiwan, like I said, if we had a packed house, it was probably, let's just call it, probably 5,000 people to 8,000 people. We weren't getting very big crowds. So, you're talking two different things realistically.
Okay. Were there any other Americans on your team that might have played in the minors or the majors at the time that you were there?
Yeah. Actually, one of my good buddies, Nelson Figueroa, was there with me.
Oh, okay.
So, and then we had a couple guys in the minor leagues that tried and stayed around for a little while, but that was pretty much it.
Okay. Now, also, you were in the Venezuelan Winter League, which a lot of people don't know anything about. If you'd like to just talk about it, because I see on your team, you had some major players on your team. You had Brian Dozier, you had David Peralta, you had Mets Wilmer Flores, Aaron Hicks, I think, with the Yankees now, Jeremy Jeffries. You had a lot of guys on that team, Sean Burrows. I think you might have played with him in Bridgeport. He was on that team. What was that like? And what was the Venezuelan Winter League?
Oh man, that team, we had a great time. I mean, and what's crazy is our leader Henry Blanco was our catcher there too. I mean, you can't forget about a guy like that, a big veteran catcher. Venezuela, that place, I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, you're talking day in, day out. You know, baseball that's what they breathe down there. You know, and every time those lights come on, the place is packed and it's full of electricity, and you know, people are rooting on their favorite teams. And I mean, you name it. I mean, they're banging all kinds of stuff and making noise, and it's every single pitch, every inning. I mean, it's just electricity is crazy down there.
Now, is that for people who don't know? Is that anything to do with affiliated Major League Baseball, or is that a completely separate deal?
That's a separate deal. That's Winter League is what I went down to. So that when baseball season ends here, they have their own Winter League that starts down there, and that's what I went to.
Okay, and just so I don't get any hate from Henry Blanco fans, the very first person on the list under the Venezuelan Winter League on what I wrote down was Henry Blanco, and then we went with Brian Dozier, and I just skipped over it, but I did have him down. It was the first person I had on the list. So looking back, like you had gone up to Boston, and you played for the Red Sox. This network is huge in New England. There's a lot of Red Sox fans listening. Between the Red Sox, the Twins, and Oakland, where you also played, which one was your favorite place to play in the majors? Like, you know, where was the best team, you know, like the best stadium, like stuff like that? What was
that's a rough one. You know, that's a rough one. I mean, for me, it was just being the fact in the big leagues, you know. I mean, I spent a majority of my time in Minnesota. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was in Boston, that was a very veteran clubhouse, great times. I mean, going to that ballpark every day was awesome too. So, you know, I didn't really have a favorite team just because of the fact that I was in the big leagues. But I will tell you right now, since I'm here in Connecticut now, every night I come home, I'm putting the Red Sox on. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay. So what stadium would Fenway Stadium be your favorite to play in? Or out of all the stadiums you ever played in, like what's the one like you were the most excited to when I'm going to play there with, you know, the old Yankee Stadium or Fenway or, you know what? I mean, you played in all of them.
The Yankee Stadium, I'll tell you that. So,
you would take Fenway over the old Yankee Stadium?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I mean Fenway. When you walk into Fenway, it's just it's you know, it's something you don't see every day. Put it that way. I mean, don't get me wrong. You walk into Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, and you knew who played there. I mean, the memories in Yankee Stadium. But I don't know. It was just Fenway having the monster there. It was different than all the rest of the stadiums. I mean, that place was, you know, a great place to play. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Now, you also played in the minors for the Mets. I think you played Buffalo with the Mets. I'm not quite sure. I could be wrong on that. But what was that experience like going to the Mets and going to the Mets minor leagues at that time frame?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. You know, I had a decent spring, and unfortunately, you know, my first outing of the year when I went and played there, I ended up blowing my elbow out. First game of the year, which was terrible. You know, I ended up having Tommy John, and I missed all year. So that was not a fun time for me because then, you know, like I said, it was recovery time back from Tommy John, and I didn't even get a chance to, you know, produce for the Mets or try to help them out at all.
Right. Now, was injuries what like finalized your career when you stopped playing ball? Was it from injuries or like what was the reasoning for that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. I've had the major injuries and my age, and I wasn't getting the phone calls or anything else no more. So I decided to retire. That was pretty much, like I said, I spent 2 years of not getting any phone calls. So I was like, well, I guess I got to make a decision here, and that was it. I decided to retire.
During that 2 years, did you get any more calls to go overseas or no?
No, I got nothing else. That was everything pretty much shut down.
Okay. Just a couple more quick things I wanted to mention to you. Bridgeport, playing in Bridgeport. I talked to a lot of people, and the area obviously rough. The stadium is very nice in the location it's in. What was your experience like? How was your experience in Bridgeport playing for the Bluefish?
I had a great time. There was a lot of old guys that I played with and played against. I had a great manager in Willie Upshaw, which he was my hitting coach here when I played in Norwich. So I knew him, and I was driving the ballpark back and forth every day. So it was easy for me, and I enjoyed it. I'll tell you that right now.
So you know that New Britain is now an independent league that plays the New Britain Bees, and they play the Bridgeport Bluefish. Do you go watch games? Like, do you go up to Fenway? Or do you go to any independents?
No, I haven't had a chance to watch the games. The New Britain team, they just got there this year. And what's crazy is the manager who is the manager for New Britain. I used to have him as a manager in Minnesota.
Yeah, Stan Clyburn.
That's correct. Yep.
One more thing before I let you go. I'm up on the time here. Tattoos. I see you got quite a lot of tattoos. Is there a rhyme and reason for it? I didn't actually get to, I haven't looked at your tattoos closely. I'm heavily tattooed myself. I was just wondering about that because you didn't see a lot of guys with tattoos in baseball, and then all of a sudden there's full sleeves and stuff like that. I was just wondering your take on that.
No, I mean, my thing is my tattoos have a little something with, that's about me and, my, background. I have my family crest and this and that. And, and I'm not even done yet. I have one sleeve. I'm probably going to go for another one. It's just crazy. Like you said, you're heavily, tattooed up. Once you get that first one, then it's like, all right, I need another one and another one. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's how I feel. You get one and it's like, oh, I want another one. And, one more thing, real quick. When what are you up to nowadays that you're not playing ball? You're here in Connecticut. What's daily life for Booth Bonser? Like, what do you do?
Well, right now, I work. I'm selling cars right now, actually, in Mystic. And then, on my day off, I try to get out and play some golf here and there and, relax with my kids and my family.
Yeah, I don't play golf, but any off time I get, I like to spend it with my kids.
Yeah.
So,
we might have to get you out and play some golf.
Yeah. I played golf a long time ago. I'd love to come out. Absolutely. I'm right in Connecticut myself, but it's been a long time since I played golf. I'd like to thank one thing before I let you go. I'd like to thank Signatures for Soldiers, a nonprofit organization that gets autographs from baseball players and sends cards to baseball players for baseball players to sign, and then they sell it, and all the money goes back to wounded warrior, veteran type programs like that. And I know they've raised over $14,000 so far, and I know you're involved in that. And that's how me and you made contact, through Signatures for Soldiers. They're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. If you had anything to say.
No, that's a great program. And I'm going to tell you what, when I first heard about it, I'm glad that I can be a part of that because, those guys over there doing their thing for us here. I mean, that's huge. So, any way you can give back to the Wounded Warriors Project and Signatures, I mean, the whole thing, I mean, it's just a great thing. And like I said, I'm part of it. I love it.
Absolutely. All right, Booth Bonser, I'd like to thank you for coming on. I'd love to have you come back on sometime. It'd be great. Thank you very much for coming on, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and you just let me know. I'll come back anytime.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was former Major League Baseball pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, the Oakland A's, the Boston Red Sox. He played in the minor leagues. He played a long time. I think he played 15 years pro ball, 4 in the majors. I mean, as we heard, he played in Taiwan, and I was very interested. I hope other people were interested in the Taiwan thing like I was. I was very interested in that because you don't hear about guys going to Taiwan. You hear about them going to Mexico. You hear about them going to Japan. But when I saw that, Taiwan, I like that. And, Booth's a great guy. I see a lot of stuff he does. Just like with the Signatures for Soldiers, he gives back whenever he can. And, that's the type of people I like to have on the Hollering with Hammer show as much as possible. Eric LaFlesh, you there, bud?
I'm still here.
Hello.
Eric LaFlesh.
Yeah.
How are you?
Doing good.
What do you think of that? With Booth Bonser heading to Taiwan?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of Major League Baseball players can actually rejuvenate their career by going overseas. But you're right. It's not usually Taiwan. It's usually Japan. Sometimes it's been Spain of late, but it's usually, Taiwan, not so much. But you think about it on a little league level, Taiwan's always been a threat to win a Little League World Series for decades. So it would kind of make sense that they translate and be very dominant in the when you in adult baseball as well. So yeah, I mean, Booth Bonser had many of his baseball cards, as you did, I'm sure. Just great to hear these and I'm going to use this air quotes, older time players, because he's probably just a touch older than I am. But it's really cool, and yeah, I thought that was interesting about the Taiwan deal.
Yeah, actually, Booth's not that old, but Booth's actually younger than me.
Oh, is he?
So, yeah. So
okay.
he, he like I said, he played 15 years of pro ball.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. I mean,
exactly, and just like he said when I asked him about who your favorite player was to strike out, because everybody tells you, oh, this person, that person,
yep.
I wanted to strike out Griffey. He said, I want to strike out everybody who comes up to plate, and I like that. I love that comment that he made.
That's the competitive nature of the athlete, right there. Still growing strong.
Absolutely, and I bet you he's a great golfer.
Oh, I'm sure he can hold his own.
So yeah, we're waiting now.
What's he doing nowadays? Selling cars, he said?
Yeah, so he sells cars in Mystic, he said.
Yeah. Mystic, Connecticut, right down by the ocean.
Yep, kind of out by the casinos there.
Yes, certainly. Yeah, so we got in touch with Racing Underdog. He will be calling in at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time, so about 15 minutes. But you are waiting on another guest, I think.
Yeah, I'm waiting on Hunter Evan. He's a bull rider.
Yeah.
We're waiting on him to call. So, yeah, I'm waiting on Hunter Evan right now. He's Hunter Crothers. He's a ranked rider, bull rider. We're waiting on him to call into VLR.
Yeah, he'll call in.
The VLR number
774-745-5950. Give us a follow on Twitter and Facebook at VL Radio Show. We have a little, I don't know if actually you actually did guess. We got a huge race in New England. It's called the Oxford 250. It's kind of like New England's Daytona 500, and it's we got a little guess going on. If you guess the top 3 drivers, Victor Lanredo is going to give you $100 and a free T-shirt. So. Just go to facebook.com/VL Radio Show for that. Give Hollering with Hammer a follow and a like on Twitter as well. And here's your next guest, my friend.
Yeah, the next guest will be Hunter Crothers. Sorry about that. I keep getting them mixed up. Bull rider out of Texas. He's a ranked rider bull rider and a Cowboy Coffee Chew bull rider. Hunter, you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Now you ride bulls, and your primary sponsors are Rank Riders and Cowboy Coffee Chew. Can you tell us a little something about Rank Riders?
Man, Rank Riders, dude, they're good people. They've carried me and my buddy Hunter Jordan for the past couple years, and they've been great to us. They stand behind you 100% through everything. They're like a second family to me.
And they can be found at Rank Riders on Facebook.
They can be found on Facebook. They have a Facebook page called Rank Riders. We don't quite have a website yet, but yeah, I mean, that's the only way you can find them is on Facebook.
Okay, you're also sponsored by Cowboy Coffee Chew, who has a lot to do with this program. If you just want to mention something about them real briefly.
Yeah, Cowboy Coffee Chew, they're great people. They sent, it's a wild story, but they ended up sending me stuff, and I ended up getting in contact with them and talking to them and getting on the team, and I'm just looking forward to this coming up season, so. Yeah,
before we get into where you've been and where you're going, let's talk about this tournament you were just in, the Southeast Texas YBR tournament, sponsored by the CBR. That's kind of a big deal down there in Texas, actually. If you'd like to talk about it and tell us how you did and tell us about the event.
Yeah, Southeast Texas YBR. Our World Finals is actually sponsored by the CBR. These past 3 years, they sponsored us, and they helped us get where we are, and it's just a great association where they help us kids get where we need to be, and give us an insight of what the future is going to hold for us, and help us achieve our goal, and help us get there, And I mean, like next year, I plan on going to the pros this coming up year because I turned 18 this year, so I plan on going to the PRCA and riding in that, and just looking forward to having a blast over there.
Have you obtained the permit in the PRCA?
No, I have not. I actually can't file right now. I got to wait until I turn 18 to file my paperwork for my permit.
No.
I tried to this past year, but they wouldn't let me.
Now, how did you do in the tournament?
I ended up coming in. There were 67 of us up in World, and I ended up coming in the top 50, I think.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, I know South Texas YBR. I mean, they put the best guys there. I mean, they come from everywhere. Now, tell us a little bit about what you've done in bull riding up to this point.
Man, I've come a long way in just such a little time. I mean, I've been riding for 2-3 years, and I went to a couple of YBRs, TYBRs. I've been to one TYBR. I didn't do so good as I planned, But I mean, there's always a first time for everything. I mean, I had fun doing it. My Southeast Texas YBR, I came out in second place this year. It was just a nail biter between first and second place. I was tied by half a point, and he ended up beating me at the finals by a whole point. So, I mean, I achieved going to World. That was my first year, this past year, going to World Finals, and I rode for him a little bit last year too. Before I even went and got into the association. I mean, when I started out riding, I rode in 2000. I started in 2014 and rode for them a little bit, and that's how I kind of got their name known, and kind of knew about them a little bit. And I just finally this year said, you know what, let me try this. So, I mean, I went and I tried their association, and I mean, I've had a blast. They're like a second family. So.
Yeah, I see your stuff on social media. I mean, you're out there constantly. A lot of guys want to be a bull rider. A lot of guys want to, be professional and everything. And
to just tell everybody out there, I mean, it's hard. It's hard trying to come up as a bull rider in the rodeo world, man. You got to be out there grinding every day. You got to be out there riding spurring bulls. If you buck off one that really freaking bucks, you know what you need to do to fix it. I mean, I'd rather buck off one that really bucks than buck off none and buck off one that doesn't buck at all. You know, I mean, it's just an up and down road. You're going to have your wins, you're going to have your losses, but you just got to keep your head up high and just stay grinding and just stay working and pursue it. If it's something that you want, pursue your dream. Just grab it. You just got to grab it by the balls and hold on. You know.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. If you want something in life, you grab it and go for it. And you're obviously going for it. Now, your friend Hunter Jordan there, he's going to be on the show coming up pretty soon. He made a comment to me. You guys had done a YouTube video for me that's up on my YouTube channel. Also, this is Hollering with Hammer on VictoryLaneRadio.com. We're talking to bull rider, ranked rider, bull rider, Hunter Crothers. You guys did a video. It's up on my Hollering with Hammer YouTube page. And Hunter Jordan makes a great comment. He says about being Hollywood. He doesn't.
Yeah,
he's not in bull
meaning,
riding for being Hollywood. If you could explain that to everybody that's listening, that's not completely up on it.
When we say being Hollywood, we really mean like, you know, like kids just coming out there, man, and just like kids just coming out there being like skateboarders and having their mama and daddy buy bulls for them to take to their place left and right, you know. And it's just a bunch of like pretty boys and stuff, you know, that's really been going on here lately. And it's not back to what it used to be like. Just real true cowboys just grinding and trying to make a day's pay, you know. And I mean, it's just getting to where you just kind of don't want to ride, you know, ride for certain people or ride at certain places because it's just like high school football, it's nothing but daddy ball, so it's nothing but daddy bull riding. That's what it's getting to, and that's what we mean when we say Hollywood out. So when we ride together. So I mean, we just got each other. We don't really depend on other people, but we do thank God we got sponsors and got people behind us to help us achieve what we want. You know, I mean, and I would actually like to give a big shout out to him and his family for just being there with me, and Rafter H.J. Bucking Bulls. He's the president. He's the head honcho over it, and I'm the second boss. It's partially my company also. It's just a family company, but we're just really trying to get Rafter H.J. Bucking Bulls, you know, known and coming up, man. I mean, we're buying bulls left and right, trying to get them bucking right and everything, and hopefully we'll take them to some maturity here pretty soon and get some sold and bought and hit some rodeos and start stock contracting. I mean, that's what we really want to do, you know.
Do you have any social media or any website or any phone numbers for that business?
No, we don't right now. But we're getting there. We're having a rough time trying to get it started right now. So, I mean, once we get everything straight, I'll definitely let you know, and I'll let everybody else know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'd be happy to post that on all my social media. Yeah, the Hollywood thing. You know, I know guys out there like Jerry Gomez and Dakota Walker and Nicholas Severi. They'll agree that there's nothing funnier than watching these rodeo videos and stuff and seeing a kid come in, you know, to ride a bull, you know, and before the event, he's got skinny jeans and a Monster Energy hat. I mean, to me, that's Hollywood. Yeah. So, you know, and yeah. I know you guys all agree, you know. Now, I had a question.
Yeah, we sit in the back of the bucking seats and laugh at guys like that. I mean, that's where we get our entertainment from.
Right. Nicholas Severi and Dakota Walker the same way. If they see a guy with skinny jeans and a Monster Energy hat, you know, they're catching wreck for an hour. Now, being down in Texas, do you run into Jerry Gomez at all? He's the same age as you, and he's about to turn pro himself.
No, I do not run into Jerry Gomez. I'm out in Texas. I live out here, but I run into Cole Melanson a lot. He's a Texas cowboy. He rides in the collegiate circuit, you know, for the college and stuff. And actually, he's doing pretty good this year. I mean, but that's the only really, other than him and Damon Haynes. Damon Haynes, he rides in the CBR, and he's one of our local pros, and he's from Crosby, Texas, and he comes and hangs out with us a lot and teaches us things and helps us out and stuff like that. So we're blessed to have him. I mean, other than that, I really don't run into any other pros, you know?
Yep, absolutely. Before I let you go here, do you have anything you want to say? You have any message? You have any, anything you want to get out there?
Yeah, I do actually. For all y'all kids that, you know, are really grinding and really being the best y'all can be at a bull riding sport or in the rodeo life period, just keep grinding, keep your head up. I know you're going to have wins and losses, but keep grinding, man. You're going to end up having something great and achieving something great. You're going to be great, man. Just keep grinding.
Absolutely. Hunter Crothers, I'd like to thank you for coming on the Hollering with Hammer radio show tonight on VictoryLaneRadio.com. I'd like to have you on again in the future, and send me any information you need, and I'll pass it along on my social media.
Yes, sir, I will. Appreciate it.
All right. That was Hunter Crothers, bull rider out of Southeast Texas, YBR. And coming up next, okay, I'll talk to you later, bud. Coming up next will be Racing Underdogs on Twitter and Facebook. It's kind of my way to get into the Victory Lane Radio world. Victory Lane Radio has the race car stuff down pat, and I kind of wanted to reach out to people that weren't involved in the network. And this guy has a pretty big deal on the internet where he discusses the lower market teams. He gets into tonight he's actually going to talk about the last remaining Dodge Chargers in the Xfinity series. And he follows the low budget, the guys with no sponsors and stuff like that. So that'll be interesting to have him on, and I'm waiting for him to call now. And Hunter Crothers, he's a young bull rider out of Texas, and he's going places. And it's bull riding 24/7 with him. It's not bull riding, girls, bars, bull riding. It's bull riding. And that's the way, if you want to make it, that's the way you got to be. You got to put yourself 100% into it. It's like anything else in life. If you want to be a baseball player, you have to put yourself 100% into being a baseball player. So,
yeah, he was pretty focused.
Yeah, he really is. I don't know if you've ever seen his videos and his stuff on social media, but he's a young kid, and that's where they start.
Yep, certainly.
So yeah, we're just waiting for Racing Underdogs. Steve from Racing Underdogs.
So can you preview a few of the other guests that are coming on in the next few weeks?
Yeah, we're gonna have a band coming up. Trying to get them in next week or the week after. Crossing Rubicon out of Connecticut, and they're kind of a big deal right now. They're on tour. They just played Dirt Fest last week. Reverend Bob Levy is going to be on at some point. We're bringing back Steve Grillo. We're going to bring him back on. I got a lot of baseball players. I'm working on that. I know Brian Bollinger from the 1996 World Series championship team for the Yankees is going to come on at some point. I'm tracking down a lot of people. I have some more
Racing Underdogs
coming
on the air, bud.
Okay. The next guest is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram under the name Racing Underdogs. And he talks about all the low budget and low market teams in NASCAR, all three aspects of NASCAR. And that's Steve from Racing Underdogs. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great. How you doing, Hammer?
Good. I know we had a little difference in the time. Now, you're out in Wyoming?
I am. Yep, I am. Out here, mountain time.
Yeah, definitely.
More or less. It's about to rain for like the first time in, I don't know, about a month. So I'm looking forward to a little bit of moisture.
Yeah. I lived out there for a while. And so go ahead and you were going to tell us tonight about the last Dodge Chargers.
Yeah, Challengers.
NASCAR Xfinity Series. Yeah, Challengers.
Yeah, they've, everyone's getting all excited about the Darlington throwback, and I feel like everyone's kind of missing the point that we still have some throwback bodies out on the track that are about 3 years old with no factory support. Kind of cap on top of that, you have a great run by Carl Long's team in a Challenger at a road course 2 weeks ago in the Xfinity Series. It's really kind of a revival of sorts for that body style, even though they're kind of pieced together. Some of them still have the original Penske bodies, but as I'm sure most people may know, Dodge pulled out of the Cup and all their NASCAR support for Xfinity and Cup at the end of 2012. And they also brought in the Cup Series, the new Gen 6 body, the next year, which pretty much killed any chances of anyone running a Charger. However, luckily, Penske on the Xfinity side was able to dole out quite a few of their challengers to some of the smaller teams, many of which are still using the chassis, even if they're not using the body style. Because I don't know about you, but when I watch those Camaros and those Mustangs, I know Challenger always was the best looking body. You may disagree, but I always like to see the look of those Challengers. They're pretty good throwback.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have a big interest in that, and I just always wondered, why there were only a couple. I knew Dodge pulled out, and it was just funny to me that they kept them in. But I also remember back in NASCAR when Pontiac pulled out, there were a couple Pontiacs for a while that were still running. So, that's been something I've been wondering, and I know you know a lot about it.
Yeah. So, really, it's a weird start in 2013 after Dodge pulled out. There were only a few drivers, and namely Mike Harmon and Morgan Shepherd were using the Dodges on the super speedways at Talladega and Daytona. And then you had a few pop-ups around that year also on the road courses. But for the most part, a lot of teams hadn't switched over from Chevy Impala to Camaro, and they were still running the Impalas. And so it wasn't until about 2014 where all of a sudden you started seeing a lot more of the Challengers being used on the intermediate tracks as well. In fact, after 2013, starting in 2014, some pretty, I guess you'd call them grassroots names that are making it pretty big now did a lot of start and parking with the Challenger bodies. At a certain time, you had Matt DiBenedetto, who's really making his name this year with a top 10 run at Bristol for BK Racing in the Cup Series. He was started parking for 11 to 38 races for Tanner Berryhill and the Challenger, Ryan Ellis. Just a lot of these guys that come up and use that as a springboard. Also, a lot of good road course ringers. If they couldn't find a ride elsewhere, they'd hop in with a team like a Mike Harmon or a Carl Long, and they'd go ahead and run one of those Challengers at a road course with some pretty respectable results. They all had top 20s at Road America, a few top 10s. And, probably one of the most important distinctions to make is that in 2014 as well, JGL Racing, they came in onto the scene running Challengers with Penske chassis. And since then, they started with Mike Wallace at Daytona, having a great run at 14th. They had a lot of good runs with J.J. Yeley during that year, a top 10 on the road course. And in fact, they now have I guess you call it an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing for the Xfinity Series. However, I believe their chassis are still those Penske chassis, even though it doesn't have the Challenger body on it. And it's unfortunate. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you had said in the beginning that they're just piecing them together. If you want to go in on that, because if they're using Penske chassis, you had said they're just piecing the cars together. I mean, obviously Dodge isn't making, obviously Dodge is giving no support to these teams. Am I correct on that?
No, they're not. They're still some of the original Penske engines. Penske for Dodge was everything. It was Penske's world when it came to Dodge. They made the motors, the chassis. No other manufacturer was really, or no other team was really so succinctly, I guess, aligned with one manufacturer and nobody else. So you had just Dodge and Penske. So I know this weekend, everyone should keep an eye on the number 13 of Alon Day. I believe they're going to be running a Penske, one of the original Penske engines. It's been rebuilt numerous times, no doubt, but they'll be running a Challenger. He finished in the top 10 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio, had a great run, and unfortunately, I thought during qualifying today, he went off into the gravel trap, so it'll be fun to watch him beat and bang his way up to the front because he's a pretty special talent coming over from Europe, racing on the road courses over there. So, but yeah, a lot of these cars on the Mike Harmon side, they've been pieced together. I can't verify exactly what motors they might be running from week to week, but a lot of those chassis may be original Penske chassis without just Dodge bodies on them anymore. Tommy Joe Martins, when they ran their Dodge Challenger in 2014, it was a 2011 Turner chassis, so it could have been a Justin Allgaier or a Reed Sorensen chassis that they had hung the Dodge body on because it was one of the cheaper things you could get because they were just kind of cleaning out in the warehouse, no doubt. I hope we don't see an end to it anytime soon. I enjoy seeing it. It's like a little relic out there running around, and when it runs well, it's even better. So it's pretty fascinating.
I personally enjoy watching it, and And, sometimes there's 4 of them. Lately, it seems like there's 2 or 3, but from time to time, like you said, road courses, there's a bunch of them. Now, I only got you here for about 4 minutes left. I'm going to be having you on every week, every Friday night from now on in for a little bit of time. We'll discuss, what's coming up in the following week and, the past week. So if you have anything you'd like to say in the next couple of minutes, I know we're rushing on time, but if you had anything else you'd like to make a point.
I appreciate you fitting me in. And, other than that was a crazy race last weekend with Bristol with the rain. However, you just don't know this low downforce package. I look forward to seeing how Matt DiBenedetto and Malcolm McDowell do. They've had some pretty good runs lately, and, of course, Lane the Castle on the Cup side. They're always contending for the top 20s, and I think one of those 3 is going to break through with a really good finish again, like Matt DiBenedetto earlier. So, and then just on the road course side with Xfinity, everyone's talking about the road course ringers that are out there. However, you should really keep your eye on Ryan Preece. I know he's a Northeastern driver. He finished 6th 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio in the rain, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him do quite well this weekend. So I'm looking forward to seeing him and see if he can repeat that. And then seeing how the next 3 weeks pan out for the Chase. You got Chris Buescher trying to make the Chase on the Cup side. Got some really good small family-owned teams on the Xfinity side trying to make it. And if that interests anybody, you can always follow me on the Twitter account at Racing Underdogs. We provide pretty frequent race updates every weekend, with the exception tomorrow, because I'll be doing a labor course with my wife. We have a baby due in October, but I'll be back in action on Sunday for the Cup race. So,
well, that's great. Congratulations on the baby. Now, are you still sponsoring cars out in Wyoming?
I do. I'm hoping to get up to Billings, Montana this weekend and see one of the street stocks run, Robert Petroff. Just something that's kind of fun to do. If you have a little extra money, which I really didn't, and maybe I didn't tell my wife completely what I was doing, but yeah, anytime I can help somebody out, it's fun. It's just a way to kind of get in there and feel like you're kind of, I don't know, you can preach it online, but when you actually help out people, it feels a little more authentic. So, and I'm learning what we get being a sponsor now. So that's a good viewpoint.
Absolutely. Now, do you make it out to the races as much as you can? Or, what the baby do, obviously, you're probably not coming out as much.
Not as much, no. It's hard to get out anymore. But I hope in 2017, when things kind of get into a lull, I can make it out at least one race every quarter. Try to make it to 3 or 4, and hang out in the garages and just kind of get a better feel for these people. These small teams are so genuine. They want to talk to you. They want to spend the time with you. You can't get the time of day from one of these big drivers or big teams. But these smaller teams are just so, great to talk to in person. I haven't met a single bad person. So every chance I can to get out there, I love to do it.
Absolutely. This is Steve from Racing Underdogs. You're on the Hollering with Hammer radio show on VLR. VictoryLaneRadio.com. I'd like to thank you for coming on, and I'd like to definitely get you back on in the future. I'd like to have you on next week.
Great. Sounds good. Let's pencil it in, and I will talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.
That was Steve from Racing Underdogs on Twitter and on Facebook.
Hammer, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just having a technical difficulty here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think I might, when this show is over, I think I might jump off a dumpster or something tonight. Just having everything that could be going wrong for me tonight is going wrong for me.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, I'm actually locked out of the system right now, and I can't actually do anything at all. So.
Beautiful.
Just give me,
well, you're talking on the radio.
Yeah. That's it.
So when are you going to break apart that massive sports card and baseball autograph collection?
Absolutely. We're definitely going to do that pretty soon.
Yeah, Hammer's got quite an extensive autograph baseball and memorabilia collection. So can't wait to make some deals on that stuff, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
I picked up a beautiful
that's-
Ryan second-year card last week.
Which one was that?
Nolan Ryan second-year card, 69 tops. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, I know you were looking for early Nolan Ryans. Yeah, that's always been my hobby, was collecting sports cars and autographs and
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that. So
you want to take a quick break while
yeah, if we
get
could
ready
take
for our
a quick
next
break.
guest. Your next guest is going to be Coleman, right?
Yeah, Paul Coleman from the band As Darkness Dies. I think we have his song.
Yeah.
If you'd like to play it from the band As Darkness Dies.
Yeah, let's see what we can do here.
And we'll be right back.
Well, hang on a second. We'll see what we can do here, because I'm locked out too. So it's no problem. Let's see. That's X5, H5, boom. Interesting. Very strange. We'll see if we can do this again, Dave.
Okay.
Right. I mean, last night we did a broadcast for 5.5 hours, and nothing's worked right since. So, I tell you what, let's take a quick break. We're gonna play As Darkness Dies, Silent Wings. So we'll return after the song with our guest. What's his name?
Paul Coleman from the band As Darkness Dies.
From the band. Okay, we'll be back. Hang tight.
And everybody in Hollering with Hammer World just got to listen to Silent Wing by the band As Darkness Dies right here from Connecticut, my state. I'm lucky to have on the phone right now Paul Coleman, the guitarist for As Darkness Dies. How you doing tonight, Paul?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good. I had a little technical difficulties, but we're here now. Everything's working great. I'd like to thank, just real quick before we start the interview, I'd like to thank Matt C. out at Commitment Inc. in Waterbury, Connecticut, for putting me and you in contact with each other.
Yeah,
Matt's
a great guy, man. Great guy.
Yeah, he's been tattooing me, and he's done a wonderful job. So let's talk about. I mean, that song is good, man. All your stuff is good. As Darkness Dies. If you'd like to tell us all, what you're up to and everything about you.
All right, man. Where do we start with that cueing? Well, to start off, we're from Waterbury, Connecticut, man. We're an old school metal band, meaning that we don't have any like screamers, or we have a really good singer, and we try to bring stuff to the table like old Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Because let's face it, we're all old, and that's what we like. What do we got going on? Well, we're signed to Pure Steel Records out of Germany, which is the second largest label in all of Europe. We've gotten a lot of great reviews throughout the process of this album. If you went to our website, there's probably, 100, 150, nothing less than an 8. It's been reviewed well. It's been going well. We've done some really big shows, and we're gearing up for writing our second, or actually third album. The second is As Darkness Dies, but we do have one out as Graven Image, which is our old name. Coming up next Thursday, we're playing with It Lies Within and Tear Out the Heart, which are also 2 signed bands on the national tour. We're the 3rd national band, and that's going to be at Sammy's right on the beach in Revere Beach in Mass. In October, we're going down to Delaware for a 2-day festival, which is all Pure Steel bands, which I'm really, really looking forward to. It's a 2-day event. We got a couple of local shows going on, one in Bleachers, Connecticut in December, and we're doing another one at the Seaside Tavern, which is a really cool place out here in Connecticut. And after that, man, it's going to be like heading deep into the studio writing the next album, because we got some new members and we're pretty excited, and we're trying to keep this thing moving forward, man.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere now. Explain to me Pure Steel in England. Now, you have the number 1 selling album on that label in Europe right now?
We have Pure Steel is not out of England. It's actually out of Germany.
Okay.
And it is right now, if you go to their best sellers list, we're leading sales at this point. Now, they've got some pretty big bands in that label, like Cage and stuff like that are pretty well known, throughout the world. So I wouldn't say we're their leading band. But right now, in the last year that the album's out, we've made some noise. Let's face it, it's pretty hard to sell albums nowadays, man. Everybody steals music, and it's tough, man. But we're definitely, cutting our dues, and we've definitely made a dent with the label. The label's happy with the music. I'm pretty sure it's going to be released on vinyl pretty soon. And the album is out at, like all iTunes and all your digital outlets. It can be picked up at www.asdarknessdies.com. It's pretty much out there anywhere, but, it's doing well. It's doing well.
Yeah, that's good. I like hearing, bands from Connecticut that are coming up, because, a lot of people don't realize Connecticut really does have a good, metal and even just
rock
my God,
scene. There's
and they always
an amazing. Well, we've spawned Fate's Warning, we've spawned Obsession. Now there's, we got Hatebreed that came out of here. You've got just Michael Becerra, who actually produced our album, actually sang for Yngwie Malmsteen, Loudness. I mean, there's a whole bunch of bands here in Connecticut now, like In the Red and Crossing Rubicon, and Enemy Remains, which is part of Fate's Warning, just put out an amazing video, which I actually had a lead role in, which is pretty cool. There's a ton of great bands out here, man. It's just up for you to get out there and hear it and be a part of it, man. That's the whole thing out here.
Absolutely. We're actually going to be having Scotty Anarchy from
I know Scotty
Rubicon.
well.
Yeah, we're going to be having him on either next week or the week after.
He's a character, dude. Be ready for that one. He's a character.
Absolutely. He's got some new music out right now, and he's doing big things. Yeah, going back to the scene, it's about getting people out and getting them to these clubs and these venues, and, go see local music. I try to promote that on this show. Get involved in the local scene. You're going to like it.
It's tough, man. There's, you're talking about like Scotty from Crossing Rubicon. I go back 5 years ago, when both of our bands first came out. And if you took at the landscape of the music scene that's out there, now we've both been lucky. His band signed, my band is signed. We both, they just finished a small run of tours, going up and down the coast a little bit, getting their feet wet, doing some stuff. And, we've been out playing in some bigger festivals and stuff just like they are. But you look around, there's not a lot of bands you can say they've done all that, man. There's a lot of, it's tough, man. So, the scene is tough. People don't always support it. In Connecticut, it seems like they support the cover music more than they do the actual people that are writing music, which is kind of crazy. But, it's tough out here to get your name out there and get your feet out there. And, you've got to go out there and you've got to get yourself on tickets where you got to sell tickets if you want to play in front of people. But, people that have done well. There's, the good thing about Connecticut is this, man. You got, like I said, there's In the Red, there's Cross Rubicon, there's Shallow Ground, which is another signed band. There are bands that have came out of this scene that have broken their teeth here and have done it. You know what I mean? Now, how far that goes, this isn't the 80s, man. The music scene isn't what it was, but all these bands have made their mark. They've been able to do successful things. And you couldn't be more proud of the bands that are like following up in the footsteps of the Obsessions and the Fates Warnings that did it first,
Absolutely. And like you had mentioned, Hatebreed, that kind of, all that scene kind of put it on the map. And then it went out for a while and, luckily.
Oh, no, I got to stop you there, man. Hatebreed didn't put it on the map. Listen, man, Fates Warning and Obsession put Connecticut on the map. These are the godfathers, basically, of progressive metal. And these guys, Mike Facera, he sang for Ingve, he sang for Loudness, he sang for Obsession. These guys, no one knew who Connecticut was before these guys came around. So Hatebreed, they're the second round that came out, and they've done really well, too. And there's been some other bands since then. But, you got to give the props to those two bands first. With Obsession first and Fates Warning, that really, really tied it. And for me, growing up a huge fan of Fates Warning, getting to know those guys really well and be friends with them. I'm actually like one of the lead actors in Enemy Remains' new video, which is, just came out today, as a matter of fact. It's out there on Facebook for people to check that out. And, that's part of Fates Warning in that band. So it was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What, musically, when did you get into music? When was, what were some of your first, bands or stuff like that when you got into music?
Man, for me, it really getting into guitar playing, I like stuff in the 70s, but it really came together for me was when Randy Rhoads came out. The first time I heard Crazy Train, I was like, oh, my God, I am going to learn to play like that one day. The jury's still out on that. I'm still working my ass off. I'm nowhere near as good as that dude, but that's where it started. The Iron Maidens, the Judas Priests, the Metallicas, but, I go back further to the Led Zeppelins and the Black Sabbaths. Just for me as a guitar player, that real blues-based, guitar playing is something that really always stuck a chord with me. That was always something that I wanted to be a part of.
Absolutely. Now, me and you have personally talked about, Zakk Wylde.
One of my favorite guitar players.
Absolutely. And he just, it's I don't know if you follow him on social media, but every day he's got something new with it. It blows me away, the stuff he's doing. And I know there's a lot of guys who have been doing that. Now, what are some of the bands that you've played in or played with, through your musical career?
Oh, great. I've been extremely, extremely fortunate with that. And that's something that I hold on to. If this thing ended tomorrow, I could say, you know what? I've been able to play with Queensryche, and Fates Warning, and Obsession, and Overkill, and Testament, and Anthrax, and Death Angel, and Ted Nugent, and Steven Tyler, and Seven Dust, and Bret Michaels. The list goes on. We've been extremely lucky to be on some big festivals and be able to do some stuff and be able to get ourselves on some shows. Those were really moments for me. Those are things that, when you're growing up, you're like, wow, man, I actually shared a stage with these guys. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't give Ted Nugent, his due and everything. That's Ted Nugent's, huge in my mind. What was that like, being around him? He's definitely a character, that guy.
Well, that was at the Laconia Fest, which, for all intents and purposes, turned out to be a bust, and a lot of bands got burnt. But we were lucky enough for the night that we played that it wasn't that way. And it was amazing to be around and to watch the camaraderie. The real story of that show though was, I'm gonna switch gears to Bret Michaels. So, and I'm not a Poison fan at all, but there was something that I witnessed that I will think I'll never forget. The reality of it was this: the show was about to be canceled across the board. One stage was packing up. Promoters left with money. Bret Michaels comes to the microphone and tells everybody, nope, everybody could play on my stage using my equipment, and my stagehands will run it. And he let all the bands play. And he even convinced the other national bands, like Lita Ford was there that night, and there was a whole bunch of great bands. We're like, you know what? Everyone's just going to play 3 songs so all the bands could play. I had never seen that much camaraderie and respect musically out of anybody. It was really amazing.
Absolutely. Now you had mentioned Queensryche. You actually played with them, or you opened for them?
We opened for them. Well, I wish I played in Queensryche. No,
right. That's what I was going to say when you. Okay, and what's it like? An experience like that for a band? You know, what does that do for like morale within the band when you're opening for a Queensryche?
I can tell you like this, man. We were at the Webster Theater at that show, and Jeff Tate actually came out, and he's like one of my favorite singers. He came out, and I've got pictures of him with him and all that, and he was like, what band are you in? We're like, we're going on right in front of you, man. And he started listening to our stuff and talking, and later that night, he was actually putting stuff on his Facebook page, so you got to check this band out. They're really good. And it's mind-blowing to have stuff like that. You know, you just,
right, because that's got to be like, you know, these are bands you look up to. These are bands you like. I mean, you know, so it's like when you're playing with them, it's, you know, it's like earlier we had a baseball player on. Just for everybody who's just tuning in right now, this is the Hollering with Hammer radio show on VictoryLaneRadio.com and the Victory Lane apps. And we have As Darkness Dies guitarist Paul Coleman on the show right now. But I was talking earlier tonight with a former Major League Baseball player, Bonser.
Oh, I'm familiar. He was with my Red Sox, man. I definitely know who Boof is. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And he actually still lives in Connecticut, and you know, he played for all the minor league teams here in Connecticut, Norwich, New Britain, and Bridgeport. And he's a good guy. And he's a tattoo guy. That's why I was hoping you would hear the Commitment Inc. shout out from Matt C. in Waterbury.
There you go.
But what I was saying with that is, like, he was saying about getting to the major leagues, like the guys, you know, that he wanted to play with, and then he finally got there, and you know how great it was and stuff like that. And I was just wondering, you know, if the morale gets boosted that high, like when you get to open for like a Ted Nugent or a Queensryche or some of these other bands that you had mentioned.
Does the morale get boosted? I mean, I know you got to take everything a little bit humbly with a grain of salt. You know, some of those shows that you're on, that you're there because you're selling tickets, but you know what? You're still there. You still outsold everybody else because you have a following. You know, you're still able to sell some merchandise. I mean, for me, it wasn't so much about a morale boost. It was so much as that's what I wanted to do. You know, when you first start playing music, you're playing in a club, in a bar, and that's exciting. You know, then you start getting them onto some of these bigger stages in front of different people. Like an example I can give you is we actually went to Puerto Rico a few years back with Mike Becerra, who produced our album with Obsession, and, you know, got to play in a big club down there and got treated, you know, we got put in a condo right across the street from the beach and stayed there for 5 days and everything was paid for. I mean, it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience. You're like, wow, this is what it's really like. So I've been able to just do some of that stuff. I mean, we're certainly not in the level of some other bands, that's for sure. But it's been really fun.
Yeah, now I'm not sure. I don't know if you played there now. I was wondering if maybe you went to that festival that was just held up in Schaghticoke, New York. Were you familiar with that?
I did not go up to that. I've had a lot of personal things going on in my life right now that I'm just kind of sorting through, but you know what I mean? I've been a little bit disconnected from what's going on, but I'm about, you know, I think there's some finality coming into a lot of that, and I'm about to turn the corner on a bunch of that stuff and really focus in on some of that stuff again. But, you know, there's a lot of festivals going on all the time, and now it's like, that's exactly the point I was making. You start off like trying to play clubs, doing a Connecticut scene. Then you start seeing these festivals all over and these different things you can get involved in and try to plug yourself in on them. And I think that's kind of the next thing for us. I mean, you know, we're all guys close to 50. You know, we're all guys that have jobs. It's not like we can just take off. The music's not making us enough money where we can support ourselves. So you have to pick and choose your shots. Like we were talking about Scotty Anarchy. I give them a lot of credit in the world. Those guys just took off on a 2-week tour twice with no direction or no one. Just let's go do it and see what happens. I mean, that takes balls, man. That's cool that they did it. You know,
exactly.
I don't think I could do that in the financial situations that I'm in right now, but we could certainly go off. You know, we also have a little bit of a global reach too, being signed to Pure Steel, that, you know, as more records sell, and that's the big thing we're always trying to push, man. People just buy the album. They're helping people support dreams. It's a $10 album. You spend more than that coffee a week, and you're going to get, if you were to look up our reviews, there's at least 3 reviews that have it in the top 15 albums of last year. I mean, there's one that I'm so proud of from a prominent magazine in Europe that put us right between Iron Maiden and Saxon. It's like, dude, can't ask for any more than that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, but I'd like to learn. Let the people that are listening right now learn a little bit more about the band. If you want to tell us about the other band members in As Darkness Dies,
sure, absolutely.
You can find on Facebook and Twitter under As Darkness Dies.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the new lineup, because we had a few lineup changes after the album came out. Things didn't work out, and we wish those people all the best in the world. But the current lineup is Joe Angelo Ree on vocals, which, if you close your eyes, is Jeff Tate. He's just that good. And I would be very shocked in the next couple of years if we stayed the course he wasn't a household name. You know, and Matt Douglas, who was also a new member on guitar, he was in Crossing Rubicon. And we have a new drummer in Mark Charette that was in the Red. So we basically, had into the band. We've done a show together. We've got another one coming up next week, and things sound amazing. There's myself on guitar and on bass guitar. The band that could never ask for anything more than Andy.
Okay, hey, Paul, your phone connection dropped out right at bass. So could you just mention that the bassist one more time, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. The bass player is Andrew Perchia, who's been with me since basically the beginning of the inception of this band. He's probably one of my best friends on the planet. He's my brother from another mother. If Andy wasn't involved in the band, I wouldn't be doing it.
Absolutely, and I'd like to get him on the show. I'm actually friends with him. I have friends with him on Facebook, and I like the videos he puts out. He puts out some live videos sometimes and stuff like that. It's just funny, some of the stuff he puts out on Facebook. I like that, and I'd like to contact you afterwards and see if I could get him on at one point in the future.
Sure. I mean, if you got Andy on Facebook, send him a message, man. He'll get on.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, what does the future hold? Like as of right now, for the band, do you have we were mentioning, upcoming concerts and stuff. What do you have right now to tell the people
right now? We've got not so much in Connecticut. We had a couple come out through the fall. We're basically right now doing about one show a month just to keep everybody in tune, keep everything going. But we're going to be getting pretty much headlong into writing a new album, I would think, right after the first of the year. The label is kind of looking for that. We do have the right to refuse it for 3 albums, so we need to get number 2 out going. That's pretty much going to be our focus. Like I said, next week on Thursday night, we're playing at it's Sammy's out there in Revere, Mass, which is right on the beach. So if no one's doing that, what a great place to end your summer. We're going to be playing right there with Tear Out the Heart and It Lies Within, which are both 2 nationally signed bands that are on a national tour right now. So we're just filling in on that one with them. And then in October, like I said, we're going down to Delaware. We're going on down there with all Pure Steel bands from across the country are flying in to do it. Our owner from Germany is coming in. It's going to be a really cool time. And then after that, we got a couple of Connecticut shows, one in November at the Seaside Tavern with a band called Soldiers of Solace, which are, I think, the next big upcoming band in Connecticut, which I think you should really pay attention to those guys. And then we're going to be doing a toy drive at Bleachers in Bristol for Christmas and try to get some stuff for kids, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Could you mention one more time the concert for Pure Steel, where that's going to be?
That's Hollow Fest, and that's in Delaware. I forgot, to be honest with you. I know it's in Newark, Delaware. I don't have the info right off the top because I'm bad like that. But it's going to be a large 2-day festival. It's a Friday and Saturday deal. There's tickets are going on sale for that. So if you look up Hollow Fest right on Facebook, you'll find it because it's a pretty big festival. I think there's 20 or so bands playing it. Like I said, though, Pure Steel is very well represented in the United States. They sign a lot of classic American bands and they keep them on there. And they're pretty much trying to do more of this where they get everybody into one place and let's have a Pure Steel event, which I think is pretty cool because, that's what it's about. It's about being part of the label that you're on, and it's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing to have, people that you have representation here. There's people that can do things for you. And I think next year and going into the following years, it's going to get even bigger. So we're pretty excited about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. The reason why I mentioned that is because when I was coming up, like listening to metal and all that, you had the Europe metal scene was huge.
Oh, still huge over there.
The mid 80s to, the early 90s, it was, I know it's still huge over there. I know it's giant, but it was huge back then. I used to get the stuff sent over, and it was a big deal. And that's why I wanted to focus a little on that and where that tour was that you were going to be going to. I'm gonna find out all the information of that, and I'm gonna link the shit out of that on all my social media and VictoryLaneRadio.com's social media, because I think that's going to be a great festival, actually.
Well, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you coming on tonight. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? I know me and you, we've been doing a lot of talking, and we're both going, through similar circumstances, and that's why I was glad. I almost personally didn't do the show tonight. I got a lot of, business that is going on, and I was glad that you were able to make it. And man? I was glad me and you got connected. It was kind of cool.
No, absolutely. And I do have a lot of personal shit going on, and I was actually dealing with some of it just before I called in. But you know what? You got to be true to what you're doing, and what I'm doing is this music, and I got to make sure that I'm always first and foremost doing what I'm supposed to do with it. So thank you guys for having us on, for one.
Yeah, no problem. And you're welcome back.
To your listeners, www.asdarknessdies.com. There's a link there that can take you to purchase the album from just about every site known to man. You know what? It's a $10 album. It's a great album. I mean, you spend more than that on coffee during the week, and you can help support a band. If we had 2,000 listeners buy a CD, we'd be touring Europe next week. So I mean, that's the reality of it. It's all album sale based. You got to sell CDs to get out there. So if anyone hears this and they're trying to help a band out that's actually done some things and they're trying to do something, pick the album up, please. Absolutely, and I know there's a lot of people, musically listening tonight, and that's www.asdarknessdies.com. Yes, sir. That's the easiest way to go. It's available on so many different social media sites and all that, and so many different. But if you go there, it's linked to every single one. So if you have an eBay account, you want to use that, it's there. If you want to buy it directly from us, that's there. If you want to buy it from iTunes, it's all in one spot. That's why I always use that one. It's the easiest one for people to find. Absolutely. And you guys are also heavy on the social media, which is good. That's, social media. Nowadays, you got to be on social media if you're promoting anything, You know what? And, that's all our singer, man. Our singer is just amazing at that. We had a girl that was doing it for us for quite some time, but she's no longer around with us. And she's kind of passed the torch on to Joe. And, Joe knows so much of that stuff. He's just amazing with it. So. Yeah, and that's As Darkness Dies, and that's Facebook and Twitter. Yes, sir. I think you're on Instagram as well. Yeah, we're on all of it, man. Like our Facebook page, please. Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, and we got to get you back. And I got to get tonight. When I got to get through a few things, I'm going to send your bassist a message, and I got to get him on because I like the stuff he does on Facebook. And so once again, that's www.asdarknessdies.com. Check out their CD. Check out all this stuff. You catch them on Facebook. You catch them on Twitter. So I appreciate you coming on tonight, Paul. No problem, man. Thanks for having me. You have yourself a great night. All right, you too. Yep. Right. That was Paul Coleman from the band As Darkness Dies. And once again, you can go to www.asdarknessdies.com. And you can also go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're just As Darkness Dies. They're a really good band. It's not that screaming stuff. I'm technically, I like the hardcore. I like the heavy metal. I like the death metal. But I also like, 80s metal, and, there's a mix of things, but it's a great sound, as you guys got to hear the song Silent Wing tonight. And like I said, I'm going to work on getting another member of that band in, their bassist, hopefully maybe next week or the week after. So, a couple things I'd like to just say real quick. A couple guys out there, they're working hard tonight. I just got notice that part of my town, the town of New Milford, the power is out in a section where a lot of my family lives. And I would just like to thank some guys that work out there, LNP, down on West Street, Bram, Jay, and PJ. I've gotten a whole bunch of messages that the power's out down there, and them guys are climbing the poles and working them poles tight tonight to get the wires going, and we appreciate you guys. The Hollering with Hammer show is actually going to end early tonight, peoples. I got to run. It was a great show. Booth Bonser. I
I can't wait to have him back on. And you know what? I'm going to message him because I want to hit the golf course. Eric LaFleche, are you a golfer, my friend?
Not really. I used to have a set of clubs. I hit the ball around, but no, I play hoop.
Basketball, huh?
I'm a hooper, yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you got the height.
Well, yeah, I used to have the ups too, but not so much anymore.
You don't have the ups?
I do have the distinction. I scored 37 points in a Air Force basketball game, in a playoff game. So that's my career high, you know.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, that's about it.
That's good. That's good. That's like remember Married with Children?
Oh yeah.
And his whole thing was the Polk High School with the touchdowns.
Yep.
He carried that with him. Yeah. So yeah. Once again, you know, I'm doing the best I can, and Eric LaFleche, I really appreciate you sticking by my side and helping me out with this. Bro. And you know, I'm trying to just, you know, keep the show going, and you know, things are all going to turn around for me very quickly. And
yeah, stick with the program, dude, and you'll be back on your feet before long. And of course, you'll always have a show here, so no worries.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. And DJ Paul and Kyle, what's up, little buddies? You're probably in bed by now. The show was jam-packed, so I couldn't shout you out tonight. But I love you guys, and everybody else. Like I said, the guys that are working on fixing the power, I'd appreciate that because some of my family's out. PJ, Brandon, Jay, thank you. To the Bull Riders coming on next week, Dakota Walker, Cootie Collins. I'm going to try to get Nicholas Severi on the show also, along with Tyler Lee, but I have a lot of guests lined up. And I'm actually going to end the show the way I came in because I think it's hilarious. Cootie Collins says to me tonight, right before I came on, I was going to cancel the show, and Cootie Collins says to me, I am the greatest cowboy ever did was. And that's how we're going to end the show tonight. This is Hollering with Hammer, good peoples of the world. VictoryLaneRadio.com, Victory Lane Radio on the apps, on any app market. You can check them in on TuneIn. You can go to all the social media. Victory Lane Radio is on everything. Hollering with Hammer is on everything. On Twitter, we're Hollering with H. I think Instagram, Hollering with H. But just type in Hollering with something, and you'll find it. Good night, good peoples of the world.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Bump and Run. Check us out next Monday at 7 p.m. on the Victory Lane Radio Network. Couldn't hear the show live and want to hear it again? Tell your friends you can hear it all on VictoryLaneRadio.com.
HDRadioNetwork.com.